If you hear these words, know this: it is no accident. This is a response, a resonance from your soul which has been waiting for this call. Before we step across the threshold into the Holy of Holies, allow yourself to make a choice. Your like is not merely approval, it is a sincere declaration of your intention. And your subscription is an enlistment among those who tirelessly seek. The truth that they so diligently hide behind the veil of everyday news is simple, yet no less terrible for it. This is not just a conspiracy theory, it is, in essence, a conspiracy against your own consciousness. The winter, whispered about so fervently by ancient prophets, is already imperceptibly but powerfully breathing down Europe's neck. This is not the winter that brings snow and cold, but the one that freezes souls and paralyzes will. Baba Vanga, the blind seer from Bulgaria, whose predictions so uncannily mirrored the unfolding of history, spoke of 3 omens foreshadowing the arrival of this particular winter. And these omens, like links in a single chain, are beginning to materialize before our very eyes. The first omen, according to her prophecies, is a coming force that will unite countries, but bring hunger. Hunger, understood not merely as a physical lack of sustenance, but also as spiritual exhaustion, as the very essence of life being drained from the European continent. We witness geopolitical tensions escalating, old alliances fracturing, and new, seemingly unexpected ones beginning to form. These unions, born of forced necessity or cunning manipulation, carry within them the seeds of future conflicts, energy crises, supply disruptions, rising prices. These are but the first pale glimmers of the impending hunger. But true hunger is a hunger for meaning, for truth, for freedom, and it is already devouring the souls of those who have slumbered for too long. The second omen is a great calamity that will force people to seek refuge, but find no peace. It heralds monumental waves of migration. These currents are driven not only by harsh economic hardships, but, more alarmingly, by the escalating force of climate change, and perhaps even deliberate actions designed to sow chaos and destabilize the world. Yet, behind it all lies something far greater. This is no mere ordinary displacement of people. It is a metaphysical shift, a realignment at the very core of our existence. Millions of souls, cast into a vortex of indescribable turmoil, desperately seek a new home. But where can one flee when the planet itself, once the cradle of life, becomes uninhabitable? This calamity brings not only tangible physical threats, but also the slow, agonizing erosion of identity, the irrevocable loss of roots, and a stark sense of utter vulnerability to unknown, unfathomable forces. It is a disaster that allows for no peace on any land, for true refuge, it turns out, is not found in the external world, but deep within ourselves. The third omen, the most unsettling and frightening, is the arrival of a mysterious man who will change everything. It is important to understand that this is not a harbinger of salvation or a savior. It is a figure whose arrival will become a powerful catalyst for irreversible, truly universal changes. This does not necessarily have to be a soul leader in the usual sense of the word. Rather, it could be an emerging ideology, a new mighty force that, like a swift dark wave, will engulf the entire continent, forever rewriting the rules of the game. This person or phenomenon is destined not so much to heal as to transform, often through inevitable destruction. It is a force that, like an invisible virus, penetrates the very depths of the social organism, changing its structure, redefining its values, and shaping its future. And this coming change, according to the predictions of Vanga, will be so all-encompassing that the previous order of things will seem like a mere hazy, distant dream. But from whence do these prophecies originate? From whence comes this age-old wisdom, passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth? These are not simply snippets of an old woman's phrases. These are but echoes of ancient hidden knowledge, accessible only to the chosen few. Scrolls, unearthed from the ruins of Alexandria's once great libraries, held cryptic hints about the cyclical nature of history, the inevitability of alternating periods of flourishing and profound decline. A lost quatrain from the 11th centuria, numbered 93, alluded in its encrypted form to a cold autumn that will come from without and bring with it fear. Even in excerpts from the Chimera Protocol, a secret document conceived in the deepest recesses of clandestine societies, we find mentions of the synchronization of planetary cycles and the awakening of mass hysteria. And what of the Eastern sages? The hermit monk Kenshin, whose ancient scrolls were found amidst the ashes of a burnt-down monastery on the slopes of Mount Kurama, spoke of a great eclipse of consciousness that would herald a time of great upheaval. He described how the bright light of truth would slowly fade, and thick shadows of doubt and all-consuming fear would begin to engulf the world. These profound thoughts remarkably echo the prophecies of Vanga, creating a harmonious resonance that is truly impossible to ignore. Take note also of the calculations of the ancient Maya, their astonishing understanding of time cycles. They too foretold the arrival of periods of great all-encompassing transformations, when the worn-out old paradigms would irrevocably crumble to give way to the new, the unknown. Even what we term technocratic mysticism unequivocally corroborates these unsettling observations. We perceive distinct fractal patterns within the kaleidoscope of geopolitical events, recurring scenarios that appear entirely random, yet, in truth, adhere to unseen, inscrutable laws. The collapse of quantum probability, where collective consciousness, gripped by all-consuming fear, unconsciously sculpts the very reality it dreads. The influence of solar cycles upon the noosphere, that subtle field of all humanity's consciousness. All these seemingly disconnected elements begin to weave themselves into a single, disturbingly clear design. One that irrefutably confirms the prophecies of Vanga are not merely a distant ephemeral possibility. It is a process that has already entered its active phase. That inexplicable gnawing anxiety that washes over you precisely at 3 a.m, that burdensome sense of alienation when you catch a fleeting glance from the unfamiliar faces of passers-by on the street, that vague yet persistent sensation that the world around you is rapidly losing its color, as if reality is becoming increasingly ephemeral, ghostly. This is not mere depression, believe me. This is your soul, gasping within a confined, suffocating matrix. It's an intuitive premonition of an approaching winter, one capable of freezing not the body, but the very soul. You feel its breath, that icy, piercing touch, but consider for a moment, what if all these horrors that torment us, destructive wars, global crises, deadly pandemics, are merely phantom shadows dancing on the walls of our own cave? What if the true, ruthless tyrant, the one holding us captive, is actually looking at you from your own reflection? What if the root cause of all this endless pain, all these all-consuming fears, lies not somewhere outside, but deep within ourselves? We have searched for an enemy externally for so long, so persistently, blaming systems, governments, and people around us for our misfortunes, shifting responsibility. But the true, most unbreakable prison is our own ingrained beliefs, our irrational fears, our all-encompassing ignorance. And it is these invisible yet so powerful chains that we absolutely must break. The universe is not cruel, it does not punish humanity. She is systematically burning away the destructive poisons. The poison of fear, the poison of ignorance, and the poison of desperate materialism. This winter, as they call it, is not the final act at all. It is more like a grand cosmic surgical procedure. Our world, like an organism afflicted with an unknown illness, requires a deep purification. And all these crises, all these difficult trials we are enduring, are merely phases of this complex but necessary process. Our crown of glass, the embodiment of our ego's fragility, is beginning to crack and crumble under the irresistible pressure of reality. And the metallic veins of the soulless system, which so thoroughly permeate every aspect of our lives, are starting to tear, to break. This is, without a doubt, a torturous process, but it is absolutely essential for our future healing. And so slowly but surely, we approach the very heart of an ancient mystery. The prophecies we hear are not merely a warning about the arrival of some future savior. No, this is more of an activation code, a code meant to awaken and mobilize the savior who already slumbers within each of us, within the viewer. The prophets foresaw not one, not two, but an entire army of awakened souls. They saw you, specifically. You are not merely a part of a grand prophecy, you are its living embodiment. All this apparent devastation, all this chaos that surrounds you, these are merely the building blocks of the world to come. A world that will be created not by someone else, but by you, strong and aware. Now that your eyes are open, now that the truth is clear, you cannot stand aside. Every like you give is a flash of light that spreads across the entire network, illuminating the path for those who still sleep. Every share you make is a precious seed you plant in the fertile soil of slumbering minds, giving rise to new growth and understanding. Your subscription is not merely a formality, but a true vow, a testament to your readiness to press onward. If you feel prepared to accept the challenge and move forward, our inner circle shall become your steadfast operational base, where new ideas and plans are born. And your support, expressed through super thanks, is the very lifeblood that tirelessly fuels our collective flame, illuminating the path in this arduous battle against the slowly but surely encroaching darkness. Until our next meeting, remain vigilant, keep your minds clear, stay connected with us, and never do you